Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are safe and fine, enjoying the weather. Today, we will see a new chapter, chapter 24, that is the story of Hua Mulan. So, let's see what is the story. It is a very famous story. Long, long ago, a courageous and intelligent girl called Hua Mulan lived in ancient China. Mulan's bravery was so famous that even today, people in China remember her. We learn about Mulan's bravery from a very old Chinese folk song. The song is called The Ballad of Mulan. No one knows exactly who wrote the song, but historians believe that the song was composed sometime around the 6th century AD. So, long, long ago, a courageous and intelligent girl whose name was Hua Mulan lived in ancient China. Mulan's bravery was so famous during that time that even today also people in China remember her. And how do we know about Mulan's bravery? We learned about Mulan's bravery from a very old Chinese folk song. The meaning of folk here is local, and the song is called The Ballad of Mulan. Ballad is a word which we generally use in poem whenever we appreciate any king or queen in the form of poem. That is called ballad. No one knows exactly who wrote the song. We don't have any idea about that. Who wrote the song? But according to historians, the song was composed sometime around the 6th century AD. Today it will be, sorry, now it is 21st century AD, and this song was composed in 6th century AD. So you can see the differences in time. In her childhood, Mulan was so beautiful that everybody said that she was as lovely as a magnolia flower. Hua means flower and Mulan means magnolia. Her father loved her and Mulan loved him too. Mulan's father was a soldier. He taught his daughter martial arts and archery. He made her an expert at sword fighting. From her mother, Mulan learned weaving and embroidery, and with her father, she practiced fencing, martial arts, and horse riding. So, when Mulan was a child, she was so beautiful that everybody said that she was as lovely as a magnolia flower. Actually, magnolia is a kind of flower. Hua means flower and Mulan means magnolia. Her father loved her and Mulan loved him too. Mulan's father was a soldier. He taught his daughter martial arts and archery. I think many of you are aware about this word archery, in which we use bow and arrow. He made her an expert at sword fighting as well. Oh, Mulan's father made her an expert at sword fighting. And from her mother, what did she learn? She learned weaving and embroidery. I think you all know the meaning of weaving. When we use needle to stitch something or to make something new with the clothes, that is called weaving. And embroidery is also a kind of art where we draw designs and pictures of flowers, animals, mountains on the clothes. And with her father, what she practiced? She practiced fencing. Fencing is sword fighting, martial arts, and horse riding. So I think you all can see how courageous was she, Hua Mulan. One day, Mulan was sitting at her loom when the soldiers of the king's army came to their house. There was a war going on, and the male members of every family were asked to join the king's army to fight in the battle. Mulan was worried. There were only two men in their family, her father and her brother. Her brother was too young to join the army, but then the king's soldier would take her old father to fight in the war. Mulan could not accept that. She loved her father. So, what happened one day when Mulan was sitting at her loom? I think you all know this term loom. Actually, we use loom is a kind of place or a kind of machine through which we weave clothes, or we can say that loom is a kind of a small machine or device or apparatus for making fabric or clothes by weaving yarn or thread. If you have ever visited to Varanasi and some places in Patna or in Gujarat, then you have noticed a lot of loom, advanced as well as old loom. So when Mulan was sitting at her loom, weaving yarn or thread, then the soldiers of the king's army came to their house. There was a war going on, and the male members of every family were asked to join the king's army to fight in the battle. So Mulan was worried because there were only two men in their family, her father and her brother. Her brother was very young. He was too young to join the army. But then the king's soldiers would take her old father to fight in the war. After looking all this, Mulan could not accept that because she loved her father. She could not let the old man go out into the battlefield, leaving the comfort of home and family life and risk his life. My father will enjoy his last days in peace. The Khans, the king was called the Khan in ancient China. Soldiers cannot take my father away from me, thought Mulan. So she could not let the old man go out into the battlefield. She thought that who, Mulan, that she will not allow her father to go out into the battlefield, leaving the comfort of home and family life. She thought that she couldn't risk her father's life. So she thought, my father will enjoy his last days in peace. The Khans, actually, the king was called the Khan in ancient China. The Khan soldiers cannot take away my father away from me, thought Mulan. Mulan was thinking that she will not allow her father to go in the battlefield, leaving the comfort of home.